Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Morhonda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another
it!
one!
Oladipo!
Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three, and
He hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Indiana Sports Beat Radio. John, the producer, currently in for Jim Coyle. He'll be with us shortly. Dustin Schutte here with us as well, as he has been frequently since he has been taking on his new job. We love having Dustin on with us here at Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by Andy Morhonda of Bloomington and the WOW Network. I'm not going to go through all those. You all know that. That's Jim's thing. I'm here to get the show underway. And also, while I have this opportunity, I want to go ahead and plug today's episode of This Week in Indiana Football that's going to be coming out this afternoon with Dustin Schutte and our friends Mitchell Page and Joe, the producer, Joe TP, if you will. So that'll be very exciting. I'm excited for everybody to get to hear the next rendition of that as we prepare for Illinois. And it looks like Jim is about ready to join us. You all are about ready to see his new place. I don't know if he's got it completely made up the way that it's going to be permanently. But while we're waiting for him to get set up, Dustin, how are you doing this fine day?
I'm doing great. We've got college football starting tonight and ending on Monday. I went through already and I've listened to every single college football theme song from CBS to ESPN to Fox. I'm fired up. Then we got the big reveal. We got the big reveal of Jim's new place.
No reveal. No reveal. This is just, I was tired. Oh, we're down. How's everybody
It's
doing?
actually a very simple setup. I like it for now.
like it.
I know
I
it's
do.
not going to be like that. I like the racing picture in the background.
It's simple because I was tired. Wore out.
Moving will take it out of you.
This was the hardest, and I don't know why. But it just was. How's everybody doing? It's Thursday. I almost said Friday. But it's Thursday. That means Matt Taylor joins us. Kyle didn't rip on today. Was he on yesterday?
Yesterday. We'll have
So
Chris
Kyler-
We'll have Kyler Staley today.
Kyler. That's what it was. Kyler. Yeah, Kyler. I wrote because I previously had written this down. And Chris Denari. Looking forward to talking to Chris. But college football is here, baby. And guess what? That means tonight it gets underway because Purdue's not. They're not the only game, are they? Purdue and
No.
Penn State kicking things off. It's the only game that matters, I think.
West Virginia Pitt. And remember, Mike DeCourcy had that
the old
story.
backyard brawl tonight as well.
That's right. Yeah, that game starts at 7. And then I think Purdue, Penn State is what, 8 o'clock maybe? Yes, 8 o'clock.
Prime time, baby. Purdue prime time tonight. Indiana prime time tomorrow night. Both with an opportunity to start the season with a big win. Both could use it. Indiana has to have it. Purdue does not. But I don't know. That's a cross deal. It's a cross division matchup for Purdue, which that doesn't even matter in the Big Ten. I don't even know why I say that. But it's Penn State, so it's a big game.
How about the state of Indiana in week 1? You got Indiana and Illinois conference game. Purdue, Penn State conference game. Notre Dame going to Ohio State in the top 5 matchup. Ball State going to Tennessee. I think that game is also tonight. So It's a big slate for the entire state.
You're right, my man. You're right. It sure is. And that a lot of people will be watching that. But Notre Dame Ohio State is what? They're a big time favorite in that game, aren't they?
There's, I think, 17 or 17 and a half.
You know what really sucks is I've got 3 monitor screens. And right now, the one that's in the middle, of course, where the camera is along as well, is the one that's not working. Because I cannot find it. There's a cable that I'm missing, and it drove me nuts. But that's the one that is not working. The monitor that is right in front of me. So it really sucks because, like right now, I'm looking straight ahead at a blank screen because you're to my right. But if I want to look like I'm looking in the right direction, I have to look at a blank screen and then look there to see any information I need, or look left to see any information. It's real fun, baby.
Oh, you can't even tell. You're doing it like a true professional, like you've been in television before or something.
Yeah, something like that. How's everybody else doing, man? Don't forget, brought to you by our good friends from Endeavor Hospitality and Andy Moore Honda, number one Honda dealer around. Andy Moore in Endeavor Hospitality. Tomorrow, coming to you from BB's. I wonder what JD's got ready. Man, I'm telling you, I had another blueberry sausage. Those things are so good. I cannot believe it. Yeah, if you didn't know that's what it was, and yeah, you'd like, oh man, this is really good. What is that? And then someone told you, you'd freak out because it's
so
crazy.
It's not overloaded with blueberry then.
No, and they're not like falling out. It's like, I don't know that you could even tell what it was if someone didn't tell you. You'd know it was like, oh my gosh, this is breakfasty. It's like you're eating breakfast. You can tell you're eating breakfast, but you can't. You're like, oh, what is that? What is that? It takes. I'm telling you, man.
I'm gonna have to try one of those because it sounds.
I don't know how they thought of that, but it is a good idea.
There's so many,
and it works.
There's so many foods that when I was little, you would think it sounds disgusting, but when you actually try it, if somebody makes it really well, it's usually going to be pretty good. Like they use that combination for a reason, right? Like that's one of those ones that it sounds like it would be just absolutely terrible, but I got to give it a shot after your recommendation here for 2 or 3 straight days now.
Oh well, yeah, of course. It's extremely good. I wouldn't lie to you. I would not guide you in the wrong direction. I'm trying to move you to my left side. At least you're closer to that can look that way and then look over. How's that?
Like we're doing a virtual electric slide.
Camera 1, camera 2. There's just no camera 2. How's everybody doing today? How about, today's the 1st of September. We've got Labor Day coming up on Monday. So Holiday City. Nice long weekend for everyone.
Dancing in September. Oh,
so that means we're going to have college football on Sunday, I would imagine, right?
Yes, every day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Boom. What are the great games coming up on the weekend?
We've got the Urban Meyer Bowl, Utah and Florida. That's taking place this weekend. Georgia and Oregon in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl kickoff. You've got Cincinnati against Arkansas. So that should be a fun one. That'll give Indiana fans a nice gauge as to what Cincinnati is going to be like this year, because those are 2 top 25 teams. And Arkansas, I think they're ahead of schedule in terms of their development. They were so bad under Chad Morris. And Sam Pittman has gotten them into shape. They look like they're probably not going to win the SEC West anytime soon, but they're pretty formidable opponents. So you'll get a pretty good look and understanding of what Cincinnati is going to be like this season, I think. And then those are really about it in terms of the top 25 matchups. It's a solid slate, but it's not the greatest.
Jimmy Dean's already made a blueberry sausage. They make a blueberry sausage corn dog already. Someone mentioned that yesterday too.
That was me.
All right. Well, you're too late, Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean's already there. Is it a corn dog or is it a pancake corn dog? Because that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
Pancake batter, roll that in there, deep fry it, and then
they're ahead of you.
No,
regardless.
This is my idea.
Dwayne jumping on as well. Thank Michael. 10 is half 11. Tim. Oh yeah, the new LED lights at Memorial Stadium. We'll see those on Friday night. Purdue's only a 3.5-point underdog. Jason pointing out. John C. jumping on. He's camping.
There you go.
At the Bart Kaufman Field for Friday night. Tailgating starts tonight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Drive out. Let me know where you are, brother. I'll try to do a drive-by. No shooting, just a drive-by. Let's see. Well, we're heading there. Let's see. Ross says the state of Indiana could easily go 0-4. Yep. What happens if they go 4-0?
That would be crazy.
How about some positivity, baby? How about a little positivity?
Could you imagine Ball State upsetting Tennessee? That would by far be the biggest of the weekend.
It is a pancake corn dog, FYI.
Stealing my ideas.
You're out.
Stealing my ideas.
Man, they're so far ahead of you. Larry's jumping on as well. Oh, the Cards outlast. It takes them over extra innings to get by the Reds this time after the Reds kicked their butt the day before. That would, can you imagine if they lost the series to the Reds? Hello.
No kidding.
that would have been funny.
After they just beat the Braves 2 out of 3. And who did they play before then? Didn't they? Was it the Mets or the Dodgers? I can't remember. But they had some pretty impressive wins the Cardinals did there in that string.
And where are we in baseball right now? With we check on it so much that 5-3 in 13. Cincinnati heads to Colorado now, or no, they host Colorado rather. So we'll see what they can do with the Rockies.
The Rockies.
Rock, you got him. You got to bust him up. I can't remember what he would say.
I don't remember.
Burgess Meredith.
I don't remember the lines either very much.
Yeah, he was funny. He just got to scream a little bit with a little gravel. He was actually pretty funny in Grumpy Your Old Men.
Yes.
He was hilarious.
Do you remember I don't know if it was actually his voice or if it was just imitation when he did those Lipton Brisk iced teas or whatever they were, and they had those stupid claymation Rocky commercials.
I do not recall that.
Oh man. It was on TV forever.
The Big 12 is entering discussions into their next TV deal. Boy, do I wish this monitor was working. With ESPN and Fox for its next TV rights deal. That's their current partners.
Oh, yeah.
The Big 12 is discussing an accelerated extension. This is from the Athletic of its current rights agreement through 24-25 with its network partners. That gives new commissioner Brett Yormick an opportunity to begin a process that is expected to get underway in the spring of 24 and could mitigate the Pac-12's advantage of being next to market. So it matters whose deal it ends first. ESPN's Pete Thamel first reported the networks would engage in talks with the conference. Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing. It will not be an $8 billion deal.
Nope.
You can guarantee you that.
Yep. They're in those two conferences
it
are
will not
in trouble.
I don't know that it will not be a $1 billion deal.
I don't know. I legitimately don't know what their worth is, but it's going to pale in comparison to both the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah, you lose Oklahoma and Texas; those are your crown jewels, baby.
Yeah, and they're losing. And on top of that, the Pac-12 is losing USC and UCLA, and those are the crown jewels of that league. So there's
and the funny thing is the most natural thing would have been for both of those conferences to just combine.
You would think so. It would give you more teams, and
it would have
make
given
it
you
more
more
marketable.
teams. It would have made it much more marketable, and it would have given you the possibility of having better teams at times. Right. And instead, all they did was try to cannibalize each other, and then that turned into a screw you fest, and they're both going to lose.
Right.
It's like I almost used the word that I shouldn't have. It's almost like two kids trying to fight in an adult. It's like two 10-year-olds entering a boxing match against some 20-year-olds. You are going to get knocked the hell out of the ring.
Right.
I mean, but yet they keep flapping. All right, yeah, whatever.
It's going to be interesting to see how those deals work out, but it's going to be coming at a fraction of what the Big Ten deal was. I mean, I'm interested to see what the figure is, to see what the kind of disparity there is between those leagues.
Speaking of disparity, it's time to break. Just kidding. No segue there. I didn't have one, but I just thought I'd make one that was funny. John Boy says it's time to take a break, and it is, because that means Matt Taylor's coming up next. Don't forget, we're brought to you by our good friends from BB's Market, where will we be coming to you live tomorrow, making some good stuff. JD's got, I hope he's got something good cooking up. BB's Market, don't forget to reach out to them and stop by, check out everything they have at visit bbsmarket.com, your local meat caterer, everything you want. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting...
What?
Nothing. I got a running joke with one of my buddies, and I just texted it to him.
God dang it. I can't figure this out. It doesn't make sense.
Can you switch cables?
Well, there's a cable that's running from that one to something.
Oh.
But I'm just tired. I mean, I am so tired.
I don't blame you. I was exhausted too. And I didn't have a house to move. I had a 1-bedroom apartment. That's a nice tailor-made bag back there. Is that just a stand? I'm going to be honest. I love this setup.
I think it looks good.
It does.
The only thing that, if you like to make it more, on brand, I guess, would just have something that just says like that
Indiana
background you have Indiana Sports Beat in that blank space.
What blank space?
Next to the race car picture.
There's probably not enough room.
There might not be, but
I can't tell what side that is. Is that this side?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I'll deal with it over the weekend.
Hey, that is the nice thing, since Indiana plays on Friday. Get the whole weekend.
That is true.
And I'm somewhere else tomorrow.
Let's go, baby. I got my Big Ten mug. We're ready for the.
You can't see it, but
there you go.
It's not even an Indiana mug. I just felt like showing off my mug. It's more like my vacation mug.
Nice. Jim.
What do you say?
I don't know. I need to fix my board.
15 seconds.
Fix my bird.
Yep, here we go, 10 seconds.
Or on this station every week, Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back. Of course, Jim Coyle with you as always. Dustin Schutte from Outsaturday.com. And we're joined by the man, Matt Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. How are you, sir?
What's happening? What we doing, man?
Oh, man, moving.
You're moving?
I felt like Mayflower.
Where are you going?
Not very far, but it doesn't matter when you're moving. Just to a different, in the same facility, different location.
Oh, like, so are you still going to be a lake guy?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, just still, it doesn't matter. I'm worn out, baby. I did not have Mayflower to help me.
And I'm not helping you either.
I noticed, boy. Twice I threw that out there and come back with an empty. Daggone, I keep casting that line, and it just keeps coming back empty. How are you doing?
Why do people think, hey, when you move, it's like, hey, come on over, spend your entire Saturday, give up your entire weekend, and I'll give you like a 6-pack of beer or order you pizza, and we're even, right? Like, why do people think that equates?
Hey, trust me, the kid that I got help me. That's not. I forgot to pay him.
What's going on?
I was supposed to Venmo him last night. And I forgot. I got to write that down.
You need a secretary or something, man. You need a personal assistant.
I forgot to pay. I forgot to pay him.
Oh man,
I forgot to pay that guy.
I am fired up, man.
Venmo him.
I'm fired up. We're ordering.
Dustin's ready. Dustin's ready to go.
NFL package, now that it's not solely on DirecTV, ordering it, going to be able to watch the Colts every Sunday. I'm fired up, man. We're a little over a week out.
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically we are a week out because first game's Thursday, right? So
right.
I'm fired up. How excited are you for the start of the season?
Yeah, same, but it's this awkward week off, where it's regular season football should be here because the 53-man roster is set and practice squads came out yesterday, and you think, all right, here we go, because we're so trained of having the last preseason game the Thursday night. So technically it would be tonight of Labor Day weekend, and then a day off Friday, Saturday, you set the 53-man roster. Monday's Labor Day. It's that first practice. But now it's different because it's weird. I don't necessarily like it. I like the time off and having the entire Labor Day weekend to kind of decompress a little bit and not study a roster. But at the same time, it's like, hey, regular season football's here. We're all set up to play. Let's just go play. So yeah, I think we'll get our whistle wet a little bit with college football tonight and then tomorrow and then on through the weekend. But I'm with you, dude. Like it's fun to talk about the draft and free agency and contracts and things like that. But there's nothing that compares to regular season football. Let's get on the field. Let's start talking about some X's and O's and playmakers. That's why you do all of this. That's why you watch. So incredibly excited to just get it going. But we got another week or so before we have to do that.
And some good news on that front too, with the Colts getting Shaquille Leonard back to practice after missing training camp. I mean, how big is that for the Colts? I don't know if he's confirmed going to play yet or what right. The timeline looks like. But just how huge is that for him to come back to practice and give the Colts a little bit more experience and depth on the field?
Well, obviously he's an all-pro player and a guy that means so much to the, psychological, health of the defense. I mean, when he's out there, they just play at a different level. So you're getting, an impact player back, and he was in full pads yesterday, and it was his first taste of being on any sort of game field or practice field since January of last year, since that Week 18 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's a really, really good sign. Now the Colts are going to practice again later on this afternoon. So the next step is to see if he goes back-to-back days. So if you factor in yesterday plus today, and then they practice Monday, and off day Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday leading into that first game against the Houston Texans. That's 6 practices. So for a guy like Darius Leonard, if he's out there for all 6, and I know he's missed a ton of time, and it's been about 12 weeks since that surgery, and I'm not downplaying that at all, but Darius Leonard, or I should say Shaquille Leonard, is Shaquille Leonard. I mean, this guy, he's sort of like T.Y. Hilton or, a Reggie Wayne or a Marvin Harrison, where I know they miss a lot of time, but they're good enough to come back and acclimate very quickly, despite the fact that it's a new defense and it's a new defensive coordinator. I understand that, but he's the type of player that can come in and still play at a high level, and you would want on your football team if he doesn't get, 3-4 weeks of ramp up time. You want to get him as much ramp up time as possible, but I'm saying there's still a possibility that he plays week 1. Now, the Colts are not definitive about that. The only thing we know for sure is he's likely going to be back in time before the first 4 games of the season occur, because he did not go on the PUP list. Had he done that yesterday, or should say Tuesday, when the 53-man roster came out, then he assuredly would have missed 4 games by NFL rule. So with him not going on that list, there's a chance he comes back quicker than that, but the Colts are still going to play it safe. They're going to do right by the player. Obviously, Leonard wants to be out there as quickly as possible, but I'm saying that even if he does get all 6 practices with no setbacks and he's out there continuously, day after day, I think there's a chance that he could play, and he's the type of player that could go out there and perform at a high level, and the Colts would feel good about putting him out there and trusting his ability to play week 1 against the Texans.
I saw the Colts. I did get to catch the broadcast against Tampa Bay. They look good, especially that first series. Of course, you got Matty Ice out there and Tom Brady. And we also got the opportunity to hear Jim Irsay, man. He was on the broadcast, and he's excited for the season. He's ready for it to get going. He thinks that they got a chance to go to the Super Bowl, man. And I think I don't know about that, but the Colts look like they're going to be pretty good this year.
So bad.
That's all I got.
Dustin, you have anything else? You got any other questions, Dustin?
We're just go back and forth between Jim's.
Can we mute Jim or turn his camera off? Is that what we can do here? We can have any IT power over that?
John, the producer, has all the control. With one press of a button is all it takes.
With one press of a button, he'll be out of the stream in no time.
Let's do that. Can we please use that executive power?
Here, man, see?
No, I can't do that.
I can disappear, man. Yeah, I can go. No, but I swear, he is my favorite owner in the NFL. I mean that sincerely. I think that he might have the most personal relationship with his team. And I know that I am in Indiana and I see him more than others, but Mark Cuban, I would put in that category. Another Indiana guy, I know happens to be.
Well, since we're talking about them,
personal relationships with the team.
Well, there's no question. I think this is his 51st year of being in and around professional football, either as, a team employee or obviously the owner of the team and the CEO of the team. And no, there's no one I don't think there's an owner that understands football more than Jim, because he's been a general manager, right? So he's put together a team and has experience doing that. And so, he at the same time has great knowledge of the game, has great input of the game, but also he's going to hire Frank to coach the team, and he's going to hire Chris Ballard to run the team and sort of get out of the way, but then offer input when it's needed, when it's warranted. Obviously, it's not a dictatorship. It's, things to consider, things that I'm seeing. But no one wants to win more than Jim. No one was more PO'd about the way last season ended than Jim, right? That's why he put together that sort of come to Jesus meeting after the end of that Jacksonville game, where Chris and Frank had to go in and meet, and they kind of put their heads together on how they were going to map out the next, certainly this year and probably the next 2 or 3 years on, what they want to do at quarterback, how they see this thing going. So there's no one that bleeds, Colts blue more than Jim Irsay. And there's also no one that, loves the city in which their team resides more than Jim Irsay, because he's got the biggest heart of all time. And yes, he's an owner, and yes, he comes from means, but he moves those means around the city in central Indiana more than other owners do in their markets. There are countless stories that I am privy to that I can't share on these airwaves because they're personal and they're intimate, but Jim Irsay does things that people have no idea that they happen or that they exist. So I'll just leave it at that. But he's got an enormous heart. I mean, the fact that, he's putting together this. I'm sure you guys have heard about this event coming up on September 9th. It's going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium. It's the Jim Irsay collection, which has traveled all over the country, dating back to the winter time. And this event is going to be, bigger than them all because it's going to be in an NFL stadium. It's going to be the collection on display, which features all kinds of music artifacts. It's the greatest rock guitar collection of all time. It's pop culture, it's history, artifacts. You got historical documents, everything you would want to see, from a U.S. history standpoint. Plus, the Colts collection is going to be on display, which is really big around here, right? John Scott, the longtime equipment manager for the Colts, has put together this basically Colts artifact museum. Johnny Unitas's helmet, Peyton Manning's, Super Bowl cleats. Everything's going to be there for you to take in. Plus, it's the Jim Irsay band. So, you got guys like Kenny Wayne Shepherd and Kenny Arnoff and John Mellencamp. They're all going to perform. You've got Buddy Guy's going to be on stage. Ann Wilson of Heart, she's going to be on stage. And this is all, again, happening at Lucas Oil Stadium, and it's free. It's free. And they're expecting north of 50,000 people to come in and take in the collection, watch the concert that night. It's September 9th, 7 to 10 at Lucas Oil Stadium, and tickets are free. You have to have a ticket, but it's free. Go to JimIrsayCollection.com, register for your free ticket. Not only is the night free and the concert free, but concessions are free as well. So you talk about, paying the band members, paying the staging, all that goes on with the lights and putting on a rock concert. You got to pay for the venue that night. You've got to pay for the concessions. You got to pay the volunteers. Well, you get what I'm saying. You got to pay the workers that do the Jim Irsay collection. So that's multiple millions of dollars that is just coming from Jim to put on this night of entertainment, on top of the countless other things that he does, for Colts fans and the city of Indianapolis, for charities and things that again people don't realize or don't know about. So. Jim Irsay, dude, I go back to the pandemic. Not one person had to take a pay cut. No one got furloughed. No nothing, because he's just unequivocally the best owner in the NFL.
I'm telling you, and if you miss this collection, you are going to kick yourself, because this is not a collection of guitars. It's not a collection of helmets. It is. I saw a statement a minute ago by a member of from REM, the band, and said this is the most comprehensive collection of American culture in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that is the perfect way to describe it. I saw a box that had President Kennedy, which I assume was a pen inside. There's just, I'll go through some of the stuff that's on there later, but I'm signing up for my ticket right now.
You should. You should. Again, it's free. Drive up. It's 7 to 10 on September the 9th. So it's sort of like the Colts version of the kickoff to the season, right? It's like a big celebration of football and music, and come see the collection, come see, great moments in Colts history with the artifacts. And it's just so well done. And, I've been privy to stops in other places. So this is going to be bigger than them all, because again, more people, bigger venue, NFL stadium. It's going to be It's the kickoff concert. I mean, hey, you brought up Mike Mills from REM. He's part of the band as well. And so I wouldn't be shocked as well. Those are the people that are going to be there that we know of. But
Yes.
I wouldn't be shocked if we have some, last minute additions from, big time names in music history that come out on stage and make a cameo appearance and make the night even more special.
Buddy
Maybe
Guy
Matt
alone
Taylor.
is reason.
Maybe Matt Taylor gets up and sings a ditty.
Well, I told him, I said, I want one thing. I want to introduce the band, but I'm not going to get up there like Guns N' Roses style, where the guy in the live concert gets up there. Remember their live album? The guy, I don't know who the guy was, but he gets up there. And he's like, you wanted the best. Well, they didn't bleep and show up. Like, I'm not going to pull that on Jim Irsay, but I do want to go out there. I do want to go out there and introduce the band. That would be a great thrill of mine, but I'm sure they have somebody bigger and better to do that.
Oh man, well, that was you filled it in just perfectly and hit right on the nail exactly what I thought Jim Irsay. That's what he comes across as, and you just nailed it just exactly as what I thought. And so it's got to be good to work for a guy like that.
No question. Yesterday, how the dude has a press conference regarding the event. I don't know if you saw this, but he had a press conference yesterday from his Zamboni. He has an ice rink on his property, and he did a press conference regarding the event coming up on September the 9th from his Zamboni. Now, his grandson, the backstory on this, his grandson is very, very good at hockey. And so, he was inclined to erect this, I think it's a full rink, hockey rink on his property. And so he's got this, but people don't understand like that now it's not community property, but all kinds of youth teams and youth leagues come in and play there and practice there. Right. So it's a service to the community to come in and use it and sign up for ice time and rink time. There's not a lot of places, as you guys know. Hockey in Indiana is not enormous, so there's not a lot of places up here to
Don't
grow
say that to Bob Kravitz.
But you understand what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
Anything that Jim does, it's going to be repurposed and it's going to be community oriented, which is, again, what he's all about.
Yeah. The other day in the Tom Allen presser at the end, Scott Dolson was speaking, and when he was walking off, Bob Kravitz said, "Hey, when's Indiana getting a hockey team?" He was just kidding. He said, he said, "You got that check?" He goes, "Yeah, what is that? $70 million?" He says, "Yeah, I think I got that."
Yeah.
Oh, brother, what's up next for you? A nice weekend, a holiday weekend, grilling out, flipping some burgers.
Yeah, all that. Trying to get in some R&R before we go. Because it's 17 weeks coming up. Really, it's 18 weeks in the regular season here. So enjoy that and watch some football tonight. Watch some football tomorrow. Hopefully, Purdue can get off to a good start. Hopefully, Indiana can get off to a good start. And we got some meaningful football at the college level all the way through October and November around here, which has not been the case the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, you'll get to watch Purdue tonight, Indiana tomorrow night. Notre Dame plays Ohio State. Dustin, we were talking about that earlier, and even Ball State is on the national stage playing Tennessee.
Yep. No, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, going to be incredibly cool. I love that we're in week 1 instead of week 0, whatever the heck that is, right? So we got that behind us. Now we go to Labor Day weekend, and we're keeping score for real for the first time here in 2022.
Well, buddy, I hope I see you on September 9th.
You got it. Yeah. Let me know if you're going to be up.
Oh, I'm headed. All right, man. You have a.
I was going to say, leave the Jim Irsay impression at home.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and put that in the bag. Wad that up in the trash, Jim, and let's keep working.
You got it, boys. Thanks
Enjoy
a
the
lot,
move.
brother. Appreciate you. Have a
See
great
ya.
weekend, my friend. Matt Taylor, the great one, joining us here from the Indianapolis Colts. Can't believe, man, you don't like my Jim Irsay impression, man. I thought it was pretty good.
It's not that bad.
I got to work on it. We got to take a break. Brought to you by our friends from Go Team. Go Team, for those that are on the move and on the run. Got a special order right now. You can reach out to our good friends at Endeavor Hospitality. They have a great special for you, and I don't have it pulled up right now because of all the new moves, but I'll get that out in a little bit. We've got to take a break. More from Indiana Sports Beat Radio when we come back.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
The sun is out.
Hey, Dustin, I'm drawing a blank on something, and maybe you can help me. I'm trying to put the topics from the podcast last night on the description. I know we talked Illinois. We talked about Scott Frost. What's something else that was a good, fun time? That wasn't just like a little blurb.
Trying to think. Was there anything else?
Obviously, we did pick'ems. I put them on there too, but I want a fourth one. I know we made fun of Joe for being a Notre Dame Indiana.
I was going to say that was maybe the closest. Was there anything else we talked about? I don't think so. I think that might be
the quarter. I guess that's part of the Illinois preview. I was going to say who's going to be the starter.
Yeah. You can talk about what kind of change.
I like to try to make the topics though
different.
Different and enticing. Obviously, since it's the same stuff we talk about on here sometimes.
I would say.
I think I'm going to go with the Notre Dame part with Joe. Because that was a fun little thing that we started off with.
I got 2 golf balls on my walk this morning.
You found 2 golf balls?
Yep. One's a Titleist, the other one's a TaylorMade. Scuffed up, but that's okay. Doesn't hurt my game. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da.
Oh, yeah, that'll probably do it. That covers most of the bases. I tell you what, I love having Mitchell on. He's so fun.
He's great. He's great.
All right, here we go.
All 2017 through 2021 Honda certified pre-owned Accords, Civics, CRVs, HRVs, and Pilots. See dealer for financing deals. Andy Moore Honda, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indy Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Hope your week has gone well, and letting you know that if it hasn't, you've got a long weekend to enjoy it. And man, oh man, am I looking forward to doing just that. But I am looking forward, seriously. It's just this Jim Irsay collection. I'm not kidding. It's the stuff was flowing by while we were talking to Matt of the stuff that's going to be there. Forget about Buddy Guy, who, like you said, that alone is worth the price of admission because the price of admission is nothing. You could have been you could have put a price on this ticket that I don't even know how high, but Matt, it just showed you why. I mean, because Jim Irsay, it's Jim Irsay. He wants to share it, not do that. But I mean, there are things here that there's a drum set from the Beatles. The music collection is crazy. I mean, can you imagine having the drum set from the Beatles?
No.
I mean,
I can't imagine having all this stuff. It's crazy.
There's a robe from Muhammad Ali. Please tell me that's not. This is some kind of. Here's a reward poster. Oh, for John Wilkes Booth.
Wow.
Here's some kind of copy of. Is that the Declaration of Independence?
He doesn't own that. There's no chance.
But I mean, why would you show a copy? These must be a pair of John Lennon's sunglasses that are on a bust of him. Unless that's just the entire bust. But
I mean, this is incredible. Yeah, everybody should go to this website, JimIrsayCollection.com. And then if you're around Indianapolis, I am envious. I did not, first of all, know about this, but I would have loved to have gone to this. Check out some of this stuff. Buddy Guy. I'm a blues fan, so that would have been awesome.
I'm trying to read whose hat that is. Oh man, an old Stetson hat. How about a $5,000 bill?
How about it?
I mean, I think it's real. A lot of Muhammad Ali. He's got some Muhammad. I mentioned the Muhammad Ali robe. Here's a pair of boots that he wore in the ring. Oh, they've got the piano that A Day in the Life, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Good Morning, and John Lennon played a John Lennon piano. I'm gonna have to look at all this stuff later, even though I've already signed up for my tickets.
Yeah, you could get lost in that collection.
Oh yeah, George Harrison guitar. Oh, I can't even imagine going through all this. The guitars. He has got well, those are a little easier, but he's got Jim Morrison's Paris Notebook.
Wow.
Get out of here. A Jim Morrison performance microphone. I mean, how do you even know this stuff's available?
I assume it's auctioned off. Would be my guess.
Paul McCartney's studio lyrics for Hey Jude.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a pair of John Lennon sunglasses. Here's it. Oh my God. Paul McCartney affidavit filed to break up the Beatles. Why do you need an affidavit to break up the Beatles?
I don't know anything about the legality of it. I wish I did.
Well, I guess there is some to that because
it probably has something to do with in terms of the money involved would be my guess. He can't just go out and perform all their songs without them. You know what I'm saying? So
he's got Sylvester Stallone's handwritten Rocky script. Hunter S. Thompson's car. Steve Jobs, Apple manual inscribed and signed.
I'm a big fan of this logo. I'm gonna go simplistic here, but that's like a bourbon bottle label type of logo.
Where?
If you go to the website in the left corner, there's a picture of Jim Irsay. Looks like he's got he's holding a guitar, sunglasses, hat on.
Yeah, I'm too far
dog.
into it. I don't even know where that is.
And then the logo, just the Jim Irsay collection. Looks like a bourbon bottle.
We're very lucky. Very, very lucky. Let's see. But wow, I did not know that. I knew he got cut. Caleb Jones made Kevin. Thank you for that info. Made the Packers practice squad after looking very impressive in camp and preseason games. I didn't think he'd make it, but he did. Cool. Handsome Jimmy. Ha! Nobody will even get that reference. Jennifer said she saw a beautiful sunrise this morning. I can guarantee you I did not. I saw no sunrise.
He saw his eyelids open.
It is a beautiful fall morning, no doubt about that. Ross said years ago he saw Buddy Guy at Beef and Boards Dinner Theater in Indy. Holy gosh.
That'd be awesome.
With 20 foot of stage, the awesome show.
I'm jealous, Ross.
Jesse's heading to Nashville for the weekend. Now, are you talking about Nashville, Tennessee, or Nashville, Indiana?
Good question.
Yeah, because there's a big difference in answers on that one, I assure you. But it is a big sports weekend ahead, and I'm looking forward to that and not having to try to rest and get caught up, man. But to do it, I on a Saturday to be able to get to watch some good football.
Yeah,
this is the only Saturday that'll happen.
That's why I kind of, as much as I don't care for the Friday night games because of what it steps on high school football. At the same time, it is nice to be able to, for fans, in my opinion, Thursday night Purdue fans, Friday night Indiana fans, you just on Saturday you get to watch stress-free football. You don't have to worry about what the team's going to do. You already know the result. It's going to be a little bit sweeter if you win on one of those two nights, but Saturday you just get to kick back, relax, and watch some good football. So I'm fired up about it. Friday night prime time tonight for Purdue. Thursday night prime time. Like these are huge games for both programs. Could really send both of them in a really positive direction, because if you're Purdue, you beat a team that you haven't beaten in, gosh, I don't know how long, probably a decade at least. And then if you're Indiana, a chance to rebound from the 2-10 season, get your first conference win since 2020, which is crazy, and start off 1-0 and a chance to get to 3-0. Just, man, I'm fired up. I can't – I'm going to be jumping around with anticipation all night until we get to, 7 o'clock, I think is the first kickoff with that Pitt West Virginia game. Fired up.
Yeah, lots of good ones, man. There's plenty to get to put your hands on. And don't forget, who's going to Las Vegas? Who's going out to watch basketball at the MGM Grand? Who's gotten their tickets, your flights, and all that stuff? The National Finals Rodeo is going on at the same time. I
did not know that.
I'm going out a couple days early, and I'm going to head over to the Thomas and Mack and watch a couple of rounds of the National Finals Rodeo. So I can't wait to I haven't been out there for a few years to do that. So looking forward to it. IU game televised. Someone asked.
Yes.
That is probably on no, it's on Fox Sports 1, I believe.
I'm checking.
I believe that
right
is yeah, I believe that's a Fox Sports 1 broadcast at 8 o'clock, if I am correct.
You are correct. 8 p.m. FS1. IU, the line now down to 1.5 point favorite. So money starting to move in favor of Illinois, because this started out as IU as the 3.5 point favorite. It's already dropped 2 points a day before kickoff. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Illinois also looked pretty darn good in that opener against Wyoming.
Well, it's an opener, how bad can you look against Wyoming?
I mean, that's true. That's a good point.
I don't mean disrespectful against Wyoming, but let's be serious. This is a Big Ten team, a Power 5 Big Ten team playing
a not good group of 5.
Not good group of 5 team.
Right.
Not power. They don't have the athletes. They just don't. They don't have the facilities. They don't have they don't have Brett Bielema. I mean,
no.
They should have. That game happened and laid out exactly how it should have. Now it does show that they have their stuff to go and ready. And with Indiana not having played a game,
there's going to be some rust.
I'm not surprised. Indiana's got to get all that stuff out of the way. Illinois kind of does. So,
and the thing that's concerning to me about that game is the fact that Indiana's going to be working through some of that rust. Illinois has already kind of kicked the tires a little bit, and Illinois is really good at possessing the football. So if they are able to score first or get an early lead in that game, man, they will constrict the time of possession. They will limit Indiana's opportunities with the football. So I've mentioned this on the Today in Indiana, or this week in Indiana football podcast. If I am Tom Allen and I win the coin toss, I take the football first because I want to try to get them. I don't want to get a lead because I don't want Illinois to be able to run the time of possession out because that is exactly what they'll do.
Looks like it's time for a break. Kyler Staley coming up next. We're going to talk some basketball. Brought to you by our good friends from Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, reach out to Cheryl Sizemore, and her 2 decades of experience could be the difference between you getting the home you want or not. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. Or if you're in the Louisville, Floyd, Clark, Harrison counties in southern Indiana, you need Barbara Pop Real Estate Services, who have served that area for 3 decades. Reach out to Matt Lincoln, Matt at BarbaraPop.com. Back with Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore. Oh, my God.
What's up, guys?
What up? What do you have, sir?
We could talk about my Woodson story, the 5 questions. Maybe run through that.
Man, my computer, this is pissing me off.
You guys ready for some football tonight? Real games?
I am.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yes.
Sorry we've had to move you around a bunch this week, Kyler.
No, it's good. I would move me too if Don Fisher was you just
so happen to be in that lucky spot that Don takes when he comes on.
Yeah. If I would have known, I would have volunteered myself.
So I'm assuming you and Alec figured out how you're all going to split up the Indiana talk this week, basketball talk.
Yeah, and I'll probably I talked to him a little bit about it, but I'll probably text him too, depending on what all we talk about and stuff today too. Right. After this.
Basketball.
Yeah, throwing a little curveball in the football week.
I'm probably going to majorly sit out on this one of this segment.
Cool.
I wish I could.
Tyler, you want to do the show by yourself for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
You don't know how badly I have never wanted to call in sick.
You should have. We'd have taken care of it.
Yes, I bet Jim's never called in sick for a radio show. Unless you include the time that he had the neck problem. That was a very rare occasion.
He did. I was laughing so hard.
That's right, because he kept making those noises in between breaks, and you kept laughing.
Yeah, people were ripping me because I was laughing too hard. But I have that problem today because I slept on my neck funky. Oh, my gosh. Right up here. It's one of those where you can't move it one direction. Whew. Part of getting old, though.
Now I'm cold.
All right, here we go.
Home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty at Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com.
This segment is brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar. Now back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Thursday, brought to you by our great friends from Feast Market and Cellar, located right next door to Southern Stone on Patterson and Rogers, offering an incredible selection of wines with a sommelier on staff, including gourmet sandwiches, cheeses, and many other things that are mouthwatering and are ready for you to take home. Welcome in, Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com. Basketball, it's we're talking a lot of football because obviously we're kicking it off week 1 this week, but basketball not far around the corner, man.
No, it's not. I mean, a lot of previews going on, with football and everything. But I mean, we're starting to take a look at, the upcoming season and the non-conference schedule coming up and, certain things like that. But I mean, basketball's still here. I mean, it's a year-round sport. It never truly ends, in my opinion.
Oh no, not in this state. That's for damn sure. Right now, you have a piece out regarding 5 questions that Mike Woodson's going to have to answer for the upcoming season for the Hoosiers. Number 1, of course, no doubt, shooting, outside shooting, man. Who is going to be that guy?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, obviously the guy that needs to step up is Miller Kopp in that situation. But I also, mentioned in my piece, look out for those freshmen, Jalen Hood-Schifino, CJ Gunn, and Caleb Banks. Those guys could step up and everything. And with the improved outside jumper with Xavier Johnson as well, that you saw kind of towards the end of the season as another guy to take a look at. And then maybe Anthony Leal steps up, gets some minutes, becomes that, perimeter outside shooter off the bench. I mean, there's a lot of guys that could step up. But I mean, all the guys, all the fans are going to be focusing on Miller Kopp to provide or to produce from the outside there.
Yeah, you mentioned in the piece that Indiana was one of the absolute, not that you needed to tell us, we knew, but one of the worst teams in not only in the Big Ten, but around. But they shot 33% last year. They only hit 206 of 619. And so, and you mentioned that nothing was added a lot in the offseason, although CJ Gunn would argue that, because I would certainly, if he can translate his shooting to the collegiate level, because man, he's got moxie.
He does. Yes. He's always been confident from behind the arc, and you kind of saw him improve a lot more in his senior year at Lawrence North. We called him Mr. Fourth Quarter. I mean, that guy was hitting shots. Last time I actually watched him play was the Kentucky versus Indiana All-Star game, and that guy had no fear. Shooting from deep, like shooting from the volleyball line. It all just minutes he's going to get. That's really what it comes down to. As far as, is he going to get spot minutes? He's certainly capable of providing that consistency from behind the arc. It's just going to come down to minutes.
And being a freshman, I think Mike Woodson has a little hesitancy with some freshmen, depending on who they are. I think we saw that last year. But Jalen Hood-Schifino is I expect him to probably start.
Yeah, me too. Having that dynamic backcourt with Xavier Johnson, it's going to allow both of those guys to play off the ball a little bit more than what they're used to. And I think it's going to be more Jalen Hood-Schifino off the ball, just from, where they are at their positions and stuff. But Jalen Hood-Schifino, as you saw at Montverde Academy, very capable of hitting the outside shot. He's going to be probably doing a lot of slashing. But, the curious thing is going to see how Xavier Johnson transitions into playing off the ball a little bit more. Maybe he will get some spots where he can kind of hit an outside shot. Maybe he'll do a little bit more slashing. But, a lot of questions in that backcourt, but it's going to be a very dynamic one for sure.
Another topic mentioned is game planning for a full 40-minute performance for the entire game.
Yeah, last year, there was a lot of talk, Indiana, they were pretty much a first half team, would only play first half, look great first half. And then it's kind of like they went away from what, got them a huge lead going into the half or anything like that, or the opposing team would adjust to that. And Indiana would just not have any way to counter those adjustments and everything. But that's a big thing. There was a lot of games last year where, Indiana, it came down to a 1 or 2 possession game where they could have won, and they just struggled closing it out. There was only very few games where, Indiana was completely taken out of the game. So that's something you got to kind of watch for. That could be, a coaching improvement as well, as I kind of mentioned in there. So I think they're going to adjust very, very well this upcoming season.
They certainly have a lot more talent this year to use to increase his rotation without question. Last year he tried to do that, but the talent was not there. The talent is there now to increase that rotation, the numbers in that rotation.
Yes, and it's going to come down to, how deep is Mike Woodson going to go at that, with his bench. I fully expect Trey Galloway to once again be in that closing lineup. He'll come off the bench. I don't think you'll see a whole lot of Miller Kopp, just depending on what they need at that certain point in time, closing out. Malik Renew is going to be another guy that you kind of watch out for that. Tamar Bates is expected to make a big jump this year. It'll be very, very curious to see how deep he goes in. I don't think Woodson wants to go as deep as what he had to last year. That's just kind of how his mindset. So I'm going to expect a consistent, probably 8 guys, in that rotation throughout the season.
Also taking advantage of a loaded schedule. I don't know how you can take advantage of a loaded schedule. You have to, hopefully they can get through that loaded schedule, but I know what you mean. But man, they are certainly taking a jump up. Talked earlier about who's going to Vegas. Speaking of, Vegas, obviously they're playing Arizona out in Vegas, but then a week later they play Kansas. You've got the game with Xavier, and of course the Big Ten ACC crossover with North Carolina. So all of these teams are quality ranked opponents. A departure from what Indiana has done in the last few years.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there for the Hoosiers to take advantage of that. When I look at it, there's 4 big games. There's Xavier, Arizona, Kansas, North Carolina, like you just mentioned. There's a lot of opportunity for them to get a few good wins heading into the Big Ten season where they don't have to rely on getting wins. I mean, obviously they do have to rely on getting Big Ten wins, but, they don't have that pressure of we have to win every single game to have a good conference or a good NCAA tournament resume. They have a chance to booster that resume before the conference play even starts, and that's something that they just haven't had the past few years for as long as I can remember. So I mean, I would expect when you look at it, they're not going to win all 4 games. It would be great if they did, but I mean, there's no reason why they can't go at least 2-2 when you look at those 4 games at least.
What else is on? Yeah, I 3-1 would be, I don't know if you'd call it a stretch, but it would be a hell of a start for Indiana because winning at Kansas, I don't care. That's just tough. That's going to be hard. The Arizona game is going to be hard. The North Carolina at home is going to be hard. They're the talent that they're bringing in. So, they could actually go 1-3 and it not be and play well. They could still play well and go 1-3.
Right. It's not going to hurt them as bad as what you would think if they do go 1-3, as you can said. I mean, that Kansas game.
I'm not saying that they are, but I'm just
right. Yeah, I know what you meant by that. But that Kansas game, that's going to be very, very difficult. Not a whole lot of teams go in and upset Kansas. I mean, last year, even Kentucky going in and upsetting Kansas was a big shock. And Kentucky's as good as it gets on that. So
it's an experience but see, not one player on Indiana's team has experienced an environment like that.
No, not at all.
I mean, there is not an environment like they're going into. Not other than because the only environment it would be compared to probably would possibly be Assembly Hall when it is raging. But the fog is raging right now because Kansas is playing well. So it's an environment I don't think that any of them have ever been into.
No, they haven't. I mean, they've always got, a lot of those big time games are at Assembly Hall. Very rarely do they go on the road to an environment like that. I mean, they went to Duke a few times the past few years on that. So they got, the players back then in the Tom Crean era got to experience that and everything. But, in the Archie Miller era, there wasn't really all that opportunity for them to go on the road and play that villain, as you would say. So it's definitely going to be an experience. It's just something that they're going to have to really, prepare for. Kansas coming off winning the national title. They're going to be as good as, ever. It could be the top ranked team heading into the season. So, I mean, it's a lot of chance. It's a big opportunity for them, but if they can play well, they can keep it close. I mean, that'll be kind of a mental win for them, I would say.
And another part you've got in there, which is very apropos as we get ready to kick off football season, is can Indiana live up to the hype? We saw what happened to the football program last year. Lots of hype coming off of a great year. The basketball program, lots of hype coming in this season with Trace Jackson Davis and Race coming back and Xavier coming back and the new guys that are coming in, the guys are already here. There's a lot of hype there. They're picked as one of the favorites to win the Big Ten. And now they've got to go out and live up to that bill, not read the headlines, not read and listen to people like us and do what they have to do.
Yeah. And I think that's, Indiana fans have certainly seen that with a lot of things, a lot of athletics, dating back a few years ago and things. There's a lot of times where Indiana's hyped very well in the off season, and then come season time, they just don't live up to that. But, if you look at all the pieces that Woodson's added, the guys returning, Trace Jackson Davis, the non-conference schedule, I mean, everything is being set up for them to have success, to live up for that hype this year. It's just all about them executing at this point. And I think, if you look at those other questions that I asked and everything, if they can somehow improve in those areas, especially in the shooting, continuing to be great on defense, just things like that, playing a full 40-minute game, they have all the opportunity there to live up to this hype. It could be a very, very special season for them. And if they can live up to this hype, it brings Indiana back into that powerhouse of a program, at a national level.
Absolutely, and they need that. Race Thompson is also going to, I mean, he's not, you got Trace and Race, but Trace Jackson Davis is expected to live up to this hype. I'm not sure that the hype is being put on Race Thompson, but he needs to also, he has to be a huge part for that team to succeed.
Yes. The thing to look out for him, he shot it, pretty solid, last year from, stretching the floor, but I think he's going to do that a little bit more consistently this year as well. He's something to work off of. I mean, arguably Indiana returns the best front court in the nation. North Carolina can obviously make a case for that as well, but I mean, those two right there are going to probably be the most dominant front court in the Big Ten. Race obviously doesn't have as much pressure as what Trace does. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Race can go out there and he can play his game and play it at a high level.
The key is having the best front court, to me, is only going to be good if they can cure the ills at that wing position. And that means that Tamar Bates, Jordan Geronimo, but Tamar Bates is the one that comes to mind. Who's going to be that guy that steps up? I know that Miller Kopp, you mentioned him earlier, but man, he's a fourth-year guy. I'm not expecting improvement from him, or a fifth-year guy, whatever he is. 16 years, however long he's been in college already. He is what he is to me. So I'm not expecting a lot of improvement from him personally, because he's had way enough time, and more than enough time to do that. But Tamar Bates, he's a guy that is a lot of people are hoping to make that jump, that first year jump. And he himself is talked about that, wanting to improve upon that, get past some of the stuff that he had to deal with last year. And that could be the biggest surprise for Indiana, even though I know they have freshmen that nothing about on the college level, but Tamar Bates could be a huge piece for this team.
Yeah, and let alone, I mean, Tamar Bates has as much hype as what this Indiana team has. People are expecting a lot from him heading into his second year. I mean, he kind of had an up and down season last year, just never really gotten that rhythm and everything. But I mean, he's definitely a guy that can come in and can provide that wing scoring. The opposing teams, the defenses, they're going to clog the paint a lot. They're going to be all over Race and Trace and everything, which last year you saw that, and they would kick the ball out to Miller Kopp. He just wasn't hitting it consistently. And that's a must for Indiana. Like, they have to be able to have that guy that can hit that wide open jumper and do it at a consistent level. I mean, that's Indiana could be the same team as last year if they have that shooting struggles. It's very easy for them to do that. But, this year they have a more consistent wing presence. I mean, this team can go as far as what they can do. So, I mean, that's big for them. There's got to be guys that step up. Xavier Johnson, Jalen Hood-Schifino, those are two other guys that could easily step up as well from behind the arc.
Anyone you expecting, or is there anyone you're expecting a jump from that is here? That is hard here. Is it Tamar? Is it Geronimo? Galloway's kind of coming off of injury, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting a big jump from Miller Kopp. I really am. I know a lot of talk is like, it is what it is with him, but I think last year he took it so hard that he just wasn't able to come in and be that wing presence that Mike Woodson needed. I think he comes in and surprises a lot of people, as Forrest just said. he's got to improve. He's a leader on the floor. He's a good teammate. But at the end of the day, you were brought in for one reason only, and that's to hit the outside shot. Indiana needs that for him. He has a lot of pressure this year, but I think he can live up to it. I think he's put in a lot of work in the offseason from what I've heard, from who I've talked to. He's got to improve. He's got to be a major piece for them this year.
I mean, I can see that. And like I said, Forrest and Gritty also agreed with you, man. We'll see. Appreciate you. I hope you have a great weekend. As we get close, we'll enjoy some football, but you just keep looking from afar. Basketball's close.
It is. All right. Take care, guys.
Make sure you give Kyler Staley a follow on Twitter and follow at thehoosier.com. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Hey, this is John.
Oh my God! Welcome back, Dustin, Schutte.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Where's my cable? Where's the cable? Where's the cable?
Do you think we would act like this if we could actually see all the people who were watching us?
No. Or, I mean, yeah. I would. I don't care. I know they can see me.
I know, but we can't see them. I think that's what I've always liked about radio is that it feels like nobody's watching even when they are.
It makes a difference.
It does.
I am here.
Chris
Hello,
is
Chris.
now.
See? Chris is there. I remembered.
Chris, we were talking. I don't know if you ever feel this way because you do. You've done radio and TV, right?
Yeah.
The reason I love radio so much is that even though you may have people, listening or watching, it doesn't feel like anybody's actually there because you can't see them. Do you like that aspect about radio, or do you not think about that?
You now, who are you saying is not there, or what?
That's what we were talking about, like the viewers. Like we see their comments and stuff for Jim's show, but we can't actually see them watching us.
Oh, okay. Well, I was doing the difference for me too is years ago when I was doing Butler basketball, back in the 90s, even into the early 2000s, is they had no games, very few games on TV. So the only way you could listen or follow Butler was to listen on radio. I mean, that was it. So, yeah, it's different today because of streaming and I mean, I like both. I mean, I migrated, of course, to TV. Radio is just what's neat about radio is you just get to paint a picture.
Yeah.
But I sort of like doing it when there was no television. Because you didn't have any competition, if you will.
Right.
It was you. I don't know how much time you have. I used to challenge myself. I had an old gentleman who was a Butler alum that kept a scorebook on the road. And it wasn't just points, it was rebounds, turnovers. And he would bring his scorebook in like the next day or 2 days later to match it against the stats. And that was my challenge, to make sure that his scorebook was pretty accurate, because I'm a believer. You got to say, hey, Schutte with the rebound or Coyle with the rebound.
Seconds.
Some people will just say, oh, there's a rebound. Well, who got it?
Right.
Here we go.
An exceptional golf and dining experience.
This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. It is Thursday here at Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Our friend Chris Denari stops by. How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
How did the gardening go this year? It's the end of the season. Any vegetables in the garden?
We do have tomatoes. We do have tomatoes, and my wife has some other stuff. I'm not even sure what it is. I just take care of the mowing, the mulching. She chooses the flowers. I just do all that kind of stuff. So, still have some time left. I mean, hopefully the weather's going to be good through October. But I was just thinking today is and nobody's going to feel sorry for me because I've had a nice 4-month, time off. But it's starting to narrow down. Next
we
week,
were just talking about it.
Next week, I won't be with you because I'm going to be in Myrtle Beach. We've rented a house down on Pawleys Island. My son and daughter-in-law live down in Myrtle Beach, and then one of my other sons, his wife, and our grandson are going to go down. Our youngest son is going to stay back here to work. So it'll be a nice little getaway, before the season starts. Then I come back the next week. I fly to New Jersey for NBA broadcast meetings. And then the next week training camp starts. So I started to think, I go, it's getting a lot closer. So, with it being September 1, that means it's time to really, process, what's going to happen here. And we are going to be traveling. There's no question about that. So that'll be something different for me for the last 2 years. And I'm looking forward to it. Though in October, there's a 5-game, 9-day road trip. And in November, December, there's a 7-game, 13-day road trip. So that'll take a little bit getting used to, but it'll be good to get back, to the way that I've always done it.
How do you pack for a 13-day trip?
Well, for 7 games, I'll probably take, I'm going to guess 3 suits. I'll wear one of the suits, I guess, 3 times. I'll take 7.
Don't watch him. Don't look that close, people.
I'll take probably 10 dress shirts, just because you need some extra ones in case a button pops off or that kind of thing.
How do you pack?
You got to take some just workout clothes or just clothes you're going to sit around.
You're on the team plane, right?
Yeah. So that makes it easier.
But I'm thinking of all these NBA guys. They probably got, oh my God, I can't think of the suits, the amount of suits that they're taking.
Yeah, but look at it now though, Jim. If you look at the bench now, it's a leisure look. You don't have to dress up anymore. So, and even the coaches. I mean, think about the coaches now. The coaches are all wearing coaching gear. They're not dressing.
Yeah, but they change. A lot of them get all jacked up when they come in, and then
it's going to be interesting. So you do have to figure out how to pack. I like to do CrossFit and work out in the hotel gym, so you got to have that. It's going to be something for me to get used to. I mean, when you haven't done it since March of 2020, it's going to be a lot different. There's no question about that. And this, I believe I read, this is the longest, the road trip that starts in LA right after Thanksgiving, and it ends at Minnesota. It's the longest road trip since 1986. Ooh. So almost 40 years. Traditionally, the Pacers play that Friday night after Thanksgiving. That has become something that is an annual game. And then traditionally, I think in my 16 years, I'm going to say most of the time, right after that, the Pacers leave on a West Coast road trip to end November, start December. But I've never been a part of one like this where you're gone for almost 2 weeks.
You just mentioned the kind of the Black Friday game. Do the Pacers have a say in that at all? Because one of the reasons I ask is because when I used to be a season ticket holder, I would always get a ticket to that game, that Black Friday game, and we'd go down and you do some shopping. You could go watch the Indiana high school state playoffs. The Colts might be in town that weekend, depending. The Pacers are playing. They usually like the Christmas tree on the circle that night. Like, is that something that Indianapolis says, hey, we have a lot of things going on. We'd like to host a Pacers game that day. Is that something they have a say-so in, or does the NBA take complete control?
No, absolutely. The Pacers have made it known that is something that has become a tradition. So they request that date each and every year. The other thing that has become a tradition over the last 5 to 6 years is the afternoon game now on New Year's Eve. So there's a 3:00 game. I believe it's against Paul George and the Clippers on New Year's Eve. So yeah, every franchise has the opportunity to block out dates that they think are best for them. And that's what the Pacers do with that Friday after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
It's always been a fun trip for me, just because you get to do so much throughout the day and then cap it off with a Pacers game, usually at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. It's always a lot of fun.
Yep.
So that's going to affect your shopping.
Wait, no, there might be shopping on the road. I mean, you never know. I mean, I think that road trip, I mean, I got to pull out the schedule. Here's the road trip.
You won't know the good places to go.
Here's the road trip. I mean, at Clippers, at Lakers, at SAC, at Utah, at Portland, at Golden State, at Minnesota. And there are
You get to spend a lot of time in California, at least.
There are 2 back-to-backs. Start out with the Clippers and the Lakers back-to-back, play Portland and Golden State back-to-back. And then the positive news about that trip is that it ends in Minneapolis. So that's only, maybe an hour and a half flight away. The hardest thing is when you end in LA and then the team will make the decision, are we going to spend the night or are we going to take basically the red eye back? And the problem is when you take the red eye back and you get home at 7:30 or 8 in the morning, I mean, you're just crushed. That day is a waste. And so all the sleep studies have been done that teams are more than likely, they will opt to stay west that night and then fly back the next day.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Either way, as you lose the day, if you will. I mean, that day just becomes a day that is lost.
What time of year is that?
We go to right after Thanksgiving. So it's Sunday, the 27th of November through Wednesday, December 7th. And here's what's crazy.
A little chilly up in Minneapolis.
Well, this is what's crazy to me, how the NBA came up with that, is you have the 7-game road trip. And you'll be back Wednesday night. And then you have a back-to-back at home on Friday and Saturday. I mean, that usually does not happen. Usually when you come back from a 7-day road trip, you get at least a couple days off.
Right.
This year, you don't even get a couple days off. You get 1 day off and then have to play a back-to-back and then a game on Monday and Wednesday. I mean, it's crazy.
So what's weird about this? It is fun, especially Chris, you say this a lot in your broadcast. Sometimes the best medicine is if a team loses is to get back on the floor pretty quickly and be able to put it out of their mind. They don't have to sit on those losses. But what's always interesting to me is I thought that during that pandemic year, 2021, I think was that the year with a lot of back-to-backs and close games together. But there were, I think, a record number of injuries. And so I thought that the NBA was going to move away from that style of scheduling, but it doesn't. I mean, I know that they only have a limited time frame, but it seems like they've not gone away from the back-to-back scheduling. And it just seems weird to me based on what we saw that year with the condensed, compressed schedule. And now
there are still back-to-backs. The Pacers play 14, which sounds high, but when I started in the NBA, back in 2006, I mean, you were up around 2021.
Really?
Traditionally, it's funny because when I started, it seemed like you played, at least the Pacers schedule was this way: Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And that's how you accumulated all those back-to-backs. And part of that was, back in the day, Thursday night was a TNT date. Nobody could play on Thursday other than the 2 games that were scheduled on TNT. That has since changed. They have opened up Thursday, and they've even opened up Sunday, for that. So now teams are playing all over the map. But that's how it was, probably 15 years ago for a lot of teams, is you were playing 20 to 22, 23 back-to-backs, but you knew what your schedule was because you were always playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So those were your 4 games in a week. Now, like I said, I mean, if you look at the Pacers schedule, they have a lot of Monday games. They have a number of Sunday games. So they've opened up the schedule. There are still the national TV windows, but you can still have games in those windows and be able to televise them.
I would have never guessed. I don't remember it being that back to back. I remember watching all those games when they used to be on. Oh gosh, what was it, like WB or something? A lot of Pacers games, but I don't remember it being that much back to back. So it's interesting that they've cut down that much, because 14 does seem like a tall number for that. But it's crazy to me. We've talked about the Pacers all off season, and now we're like 7 weeks away from the start of the regular season and preseason. Even before that, I mean, what's your level of excitement for this season and the new players? Benedict Mathurin coming in, some new pieces. I'm jacked up for the season, especially after the way last season went. I think that there's some positivity. I think there's explosiveness on this team. No, you won't be here next week. So what are you looking forward to when the season training camp gets underway?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, Dustin. I think the athleticism, this team is going to be a lot more athletic than it's been. And I think for the fan base I'm not going to sit here and say, what the record's going to be, because I clearly don't know. I think it's going to be a work in progress. When you look at, the national people, they've got the Pacers well down toward the bottom of the NBA. But what I think that you see now is a path forward.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, it did not work out with the former group. And the front office did what many fans wanted them to do, and it's sort of start over, right? And what you've done is now you've taken this core of young players led by Tyrese Halliburton. You've got Jalen Smith. You've got Benedict Mathurin. You've got Chris Duarte. I still am anxious to see how Miles Turner fits into this group, because he's only 25 or 26 years old. But you've got this core of players that you're going to try to move forward. And the one thing that I've said, when you look at the NBA, really all of professional sports, you operate in about 3 to 4 year windows, maybe 5 years, right? And so those teams that in the NBA that right now have it going, 3 to 4 years from now, they may have to start over. And that's where you hope the Pacers are, on their trajectory upward. I remember when I first got the job back in 2006, the Pacers didn't make the playoffs for 4 years, got in as the 8th seed against Chicago, and I thought showed themselves very well against Derrick Rose and company. And that sort of set the groundwork for the next 4 years, where 2 of those years they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. So what you're trying to do is build a base. And I think the fan base, the front office, everybody, I think, is in tune with what's going on. What that win-loss record is, it's hard to know, because it's also hard to know what's going to happen to other teams. 2 years ago, the Knicks and the Hawks were the 4th and 5th seeds. Last year, the Hawks barely snuck into the play-in, and the Knicks didn't even make the playoffs. So there's going to be somebody in the East that was a really good team last year that's going to have some injuries, is going to fall off and not achieve what they achieved last year. So from that standpoint, that's why I like it. It's a little bit unpredictable to know what will happen. I mean, clearly at the top, Boston's really good. Philadelphia, Brooklyn with Durant coming back. If Kyrie Irving is back, I mean, they should be good. Milwaukee, Cleveland's up and coming. I mean, there are a lot of good, solid teams. But there are going to be some teams, I believe, that will take a step back just because they will not perform at the level they performed last year, or they'll have some injuries.
And it's always interesting to me, or what was interesting to me was this past year, everybody kind of calling for that rebuild. Everybody, this isn't going to work. Unfortunately, we need to start fresh. And I think outside of what you just mentioned, that run from 2006 to 2009 or whatever it was, where they didn't make the playoffs, it just doesn't happen in the Pacers history very often. You always expect them to be, at least in my lifetime, you've always expected them to be in the playoffs. You've always expected them to be challenging for the Eastern Conference, and it just wasn't working. So I'm excited, because typically when the Pacers have done this, you just talked about 3 to 4 year windows. They tend to be like, it's almost like an expanded window for them. Maybe not in today's NBA. Maybe it won't work out that way. But they've found ways to be more competitive for 7 and 8 years at a time. So I'm encouraged by the rebuild. I think that they've got the right pieces. I'm excited to see what they can do together. Because part of it is there's still mystery from last year because so many of those players didn't get to play together, and now we're finally going to get to see it. Hopefully, I'm excited. I know that we haven't even started off really the college football or the NFL season, but I'm already looking forward to the NBA season just because it's a new look for the Pacers.
Well, I'm going to throw some numbers at you, and this goes back to 1990, but over a 33-year period, the Pacers made the playoffs 25 times. And if you look at Eastern Conference Finals appearances in the last 33 years, number one in the East is Miami 9 times. And then the Celtics, the Bulls, the Pistons, and the Pacers 8 times each. The Cavaliers 7. Knicks, Orlando 4. Milwaukee 3. Brooklyn, Atlanta, Toronto 2. Philadelphia 1. Charlotte and Washington 0. So if you look, and I know 33 years is a long way, and we live in today, right? We worry about 2022. But to your point, Dustin, if you look at the long history in the East, the Indiana Pacers are right there at the top, and I have great belief that they'll be able to get back there. How long it will take, we don't know. But I do like what they are attempting to do. I do like the young core that they have, and that's the plan right now.
Breaks my heart that we're not an NBA championship, though. Oh, boy, 8 times no championship.
Yeah, you wish you had one of those. You're right.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great extended holiday weekend. Burgers, hot dogs, brats, the whole American deal.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, college football tonight, Penn State and Purdue, and then Indiana and Illinois tomorrow. So this is a great way to kick off the holiday weekend. NFL starts a week from now, but big couple of nights for Indiana college football teams the next 2 nights. Looking forward to watching.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Yeah, it's a great weekend.
Ball State,
Tennessee. Yeah.
That was it. Buddy, thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
The great Chris Denari joining us from the Indiana Pacers here, and I could not be happier to have him. We've got lots more to talk about. Serena Williams takes down number 2, and as she's going out. But look down the rankings for some of the basketball players that are coming, sophomores and junior to be. A name DJ Wagner, of course, he's the number 1 junior. Trey Johnson's the number 1 sophomore, but Cameron Boozer, Carlos's son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our good friends from Cabello Italian restaurant located on the square in Bloomington. Stop by and taste the traditions of Southern Italy right here in Southern Indiana. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting, I wonder how old.
Look, the sex people are back.
Oh, hey, all right.
Wow.
They're gone now. Someone else already showed up. They all just pop in at the same time.
So annoying.
Whose job is it to run that stuff? Or is it?
I have no idea.
They're bots. I think they're bots.
But somebody creates them, right? Or are they just completely?
I have no idea how that works.
AI operated.
Someone creates. They write code and it just they find their way into algorithms and things like that. I don't know. I'm hungry. I'm not a computer expert.
Some of them.
I'm hungry and tired. I am not a computer expert.
See, sometimes I don't know. Like some people get paid to do that.
What a hopeless job. I don't know.
Well, no. Let me rephrase that. Some people get paid to try to hack these websites so that they can improve their security. So they try.
Why use that kind of stuff though?
I'm not an expert. I mean, that may not be what it is. It probably is not. It's probably something else. But I'm just saying. Sometimes I've talked to people whose job it is to try to hack those codes strictly because those websites like employ them to try to improve their security or their whatever firewalls, whatever the hell they're called. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, there's that hypostatic, whatever the hell I always say. Whew. Orthostatic hypotension. Holy crap. If you all know what I'm talking about, it is one of the weirdest feelings whenever you do that.
Why don't you just say lightheaded? Why don't you be a normal person?
Because I love saying the real term.
Nobody knows what you're talking about. I'm never going to remember it.
10 seconds.
Every week, Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you high atop the 18th fairway from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com and me from here. Oh, man.
Me from here. I like it.
Me, him, me, him, he. Is that how you got to write my name? Me, him, he, him, he. Was a oh yeah, those rankings. That blows my mind. Carlos is Boozer's son.
Yeah.
You got DJ Wagner. That's a grandson. That's a lineage of the Wagners. Milt Wagner, his grandfather, played on Louisville's national championship team.
Huh. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. It's too bad AJ Guyton has a son that same age, so he can block.
Oh, there you go.
Boozer's son.
There you go.
He could block Boozer's son. Yeah, that'd be something.
That would be something. Like father, like son.
Oh, mercy me. All right. Football tonight. Who can Purdue beat Penn State?
Can they? Yes.
Oh, can they? That's a stupid question. Yes, can. I don't know they can't. That was a dumb question.
Well, no, I mean, but I mean,
do they?
I don't think they do. I think to answer the can they question, I think Purdue has a lot of talent. I think that they have the play calling. I think that they have the ability to beat, but I just don't see their offensive line making enough progress to where they're going to be balanced enough to beat Penn State. Because I think Penn State, when you look, they've got a good defensive line, they've got a solid secondary, and if you're just going to sit back there and throw all day, I think that Penn State's athletes are going to be able to create some turnovers and win that game. And Purdue lost Brad Lambert, their defensive coordinator. They lost some of their best defensive players, George Karlaftis, Jalen Allen. I always get Jalen Graham and Jalen Alexander mixed up. But they lost some of their best linebackers. Their secondary should be good. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think that 3.5 point spread is like right on the money. I think that's going to be, I predicted a 31-28 Penn State win, but would not be shocked at all if Purdue comes out on top. I think the only thing, if you're Purdue, is you don't want to get blown out, and that might sound dumb, but I think if you are competitive against Penn State at home, that shows that they're going to be a competitor in the Big Ten West. I think that gives fans a lot of optimism. If you get beat 41-10, we're hoping about, or you're talking about bowl eligibility probably. So I think they can. I just think Penn State's a little bit too talented to win that game.
I think Purdue wins.
Really?
Jeff Brom. He needs to have a good season.
Why do you think he needs to have a good season? He just came off 9-4.
Yeah, but you can't keep bouncing.
You can at Purdue. You can at Indiana and Purdue, I think.
Yes, but but that's not what he wants.
No. I agree with that.
And he has the ability to do. He's just a really good offensive coach.
He is. Yep.
And I bet Purdue wins this game. I think this is their big, they always have that knack for getting that big win.
Right.
I think this could be that big win. Not that they won't have others this season, but
it could be.
I think this is going to be one of those.
I could see that. The thing that I would caution against is Jeff Brom in his time at Purdue has not been particularly good in season openers. He lost his first 3. They played Louisville. They played Nevada.
How about that one to Nevada? That one was, although it was on the road. Why would you ever play Nevada on the road?
Great question. That was dumb scheduling. And then they lost to Northwestern one year in another close game. All of them one possession. 2020, they beat Iowa in their opener. But remember, Jeff Brom was out with the COVID-19 protocols, so he wasn't technically on the sideline. And then last year they beat Oregon State, but only by 9 points. And that was a game. That was a one-possession game in the fourth quarter, deep into the fourth quarter. So Penn State usually plays a little bit better early in the season. Purdue takes a little time to find their footing. So that's another reason why I think it's a close game, but I just don't think Purdue comes out on top.
How about Jackson State? Their football coach, you know him as Prime Time. Deion Sanders on Tuesday said in an Instagram video that his program and players are now in crisis mode when it comes to grappling with the multiple water problems they are afflicted in Mississippi's capital city this past weekend. Parts of Jackson were without running water Tuesday because flooding exacerbated longstanding problems in one of the plants. So, yeah, if you don't have water for football practice, that ain't no fun.
No. That is a big problem.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would make practice an issue. And how about Serena knocking off number 2? I just want to throw that in there again. She said, I got a little bit left in me.
Hey, the all-time greats usually go out on top, right? I don't know that she'll win, but look, I mean, Derek Jeter walk off to win his final game with the Yankees. Michael Jordan, the shot, Game 6 against the Utah Jazz. Tiger Woods recently won a Masters. The all-time greats usually have a little bit something left in the tank before they head out. So I'm not totally surprised that she's coming in strong and wanting to leave her legacy even stronger than what it already is.
The College Football Playoffs Board of Managers will hold a virtual meeting on Friday that could accelerate playoff expansion as early as 2024 if the 11 presidents and chancellors who comprise the sport's most powerful group vote on a format and unanimously agree to it, sources confirmed to ESPN on Wednesday. That meeting, again, happens tomorrow. There's momentum. A source with knowledge of the conversations told ESPN there's definitely momentum. The source indicated it was 50-50 whether there would be any kind of vote. Sports Illustrated first reported the meeting. CFP Executive Director Bill Hancock declined to confirm or deny the report. The CFP's Managers Committee, which is composed of the 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Swarbert, expected to meet next week to continue expansion discussions, but the numbers are waiting to hear what the presidents decide, if anything, tomorrow. So the presidents are kind of sending it either. It's kind of like the House. Are they going to send it to the Senate? Basically.
Yeah.
The House votes tomorrow. We'll see what the Senate says next week.
I'm tired. I'm just figure this out. I'm tired of it being talked about. Get it together. Expand the playoffs.
There's no way there won't be expansion. There's no way there won't be expansion.
I know,
because even the Big Ten and the SEC will want it now. They want more teams in there.
And now Kevin Warren's willing to back off of the automatic bids and basically I mean, I don't know.
He must have gotten Barry Alvarez's permission.
Here's the problem. This is the problem. Must have gotten Barry Alvarez's permission. That's a great, probably true. Here's the problem, though. They cannot have expansion, in my opinion, unless other networks are getting involved in this, because you have the Big Ten, who no longer has a relationship with ESPN in terms of their football and basketball coverage. You cannot tell me that that's not going to impact how those teams are selected. I'm not saying they're going to completely keep teams like Ohio State, Michigan out, but are you telling me that if there's a borderline decision that comes down to it and you have to pick whether it's Iowa or Ole Miss or Arkansas or Wisconsin, that nod's not going to go to the SEC because there's some sort of partnership there? This has been one of my concerns for a long time with the college football playoff, the connection to ESPN, the SEC network, and the SEC. Like, that thing has to be split up on multiple networks, get multiple people involved on this committee. It does not make sense to me as to why ESPN has owned everything about this.
Well, let me put some dollars to it for you. By choosing to remain at 4 teams for 4 more years, the 10 FBS conferences and Notre Dame forfeited roughly $450 million in potential revenue. Wow. Since then, the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 have voiced public support for expansion. So there you go.
So money talks again.
Does it ever whisper? Money doesn't whisper.
No, it does not.
Money doesn't whisper, and it doesn't keep secrets.
It comes in and it yells really loud, like a blowhorn, directly into your ear.
Hails to the air. All right, so tonight, what's the schedule tonight of games? Obviously, we know we've talked about
you got Purdue Penn State.
And Penn State, of course. But let's see, we already masked those. So here we are, Thursday, September 1st. Oklahoma State, but they're playing Central Michigan, so blah, blah, blah. Pittsburgh, the old backyard brawl starts. See, it sucks. They're both, that one starts at 7, Purdue starts at 8, so you're going to have to go back and forth, but you only have so much time anyway, so that's cool. Those are the 2 best games on the slate without question.
Yes. And then for Ball State.
Minnesota, you got Minnesota playing New Mexico State.
Yep. Return of Jerry Kill to the bank. Huntington Bank Stadium. Ball State, Tennessee tonight.
That's a big deal, though. Don't forget. That's a big deal. That New Mexico State Minnesota game. Don't think Jerry Kill would not love to kill Minnesota.
Exactly.
I
and he and PJ Fleck had a falling out. So that's going to be – I'm interested to see the post-game handshake and how that goes.
I think he's already said he's not going to shake his hand.
Did he really?
He is. I think he publicly said he is not going to shake his hand.
Wow.
We'll see how that turns out. So.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible.
I don't not shake his hand. I think you should come across with a big forearm shiver, baby.
And just imagine like walking out.
Can you imagine coaches breaking out in the middle? That would be awesome.
I just imagine that, that hand, you go in for the handshake, and then as soon as the other guy goes in, you pull your hand and like one of those. I can imagine. Could you imagine that would be awesome?
Dustin just did the old famous reach out handshake, pull it back, and do the hair slick motion.
There you go. And I got no hair, so.
Yeah, that would be even better if you're bald completely.
And I mean, both Jerry Kill and PJ Fleck have no hair, so it would be very fitting.
That would be very funny to do that very move.
I would love it.
I would love to see that. That would be played over and over.
Yes.
That would go viral. That would be a, what do you call those things? A meme or
a meme? Yeah, meme, GIF, meme, something.
GIF, whatever those stupid things are. It's GIF, GIF, not GIF. It's not a GIF. It's a GIF.
It's a GIF.
It's a GIF.
It's the GIF that keeps on giving.
It's also a meme, not a meme.
That's what I say. I'll acknowledge I don't know the difference. Meme. What? Who comes up with these stupid words?
I don't know.
Because both of those are stupid words.
Well, GIF is an GIF, whatever you want to call it, is an abbreviation for graphic image, whatever. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, then in that case, it should be GIF if the G stands for graphic.
I agree.
But the guy who came up with
it, I'm just telling you.
The guy who came up with it said it's a GIF. He said that's how it should be pronounced. But it doesn't make sense.
I bet his name is Jeff and he spells it Geoff.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I have no idea who came up with it, but that would be awesome.
Man, I can't wait to get back tomorrow to the action. Another loaded schedule. Of course, Dustin back with us. Alec Lasley back on. We'll talk some basketball. See how Arrington Page's visit to Miami goes. Always scary when they go to Miami. Mr. Moneybags down there. Zach Osterman will be with us. And then the red zone. You know what that means. Mitchell Page, Jeffrey the Greek. Our first official red zone. And we're live from BB's. Oh my gosh. I hope I remember that tonight.
And Mitchell Page has a surprise for the show.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
It's a very small surprise, but it is a surprise.
Yeah.
I wasn't privy to that.
Well, no.
It's supposed to be a surprise.
Exactly. You're going to be surprised by it. So are the listeners. Well, really the viewers.
You shouldn't have told me. I would have really been surprised. Now I know there's a surprise coming.
Yeah, but you'll probably forget by then, let's be honest.
You're right about that. I can't thank everybody enough today, of course. Everyone that joined us, as always. Big thanks to Matt from the Colts, of course. Kyler from thehoosier.com. Make sure you go. He's got a great story up right now. And Mr. Chris Denari. Appreciate him as well. Of course, big thanks to Dustin from theoutsider.com and John, the producer. Most importantly, thanks to you guys. Without you, we've got no reason to be here. We're back tomorrow to do it again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of